So we're at 96 hours fermentation. I took a scoop of the some of the top rice and alcohol, and then I stirred it with the spoon, with the ladle, and I took a little bit more rice and alcohol. So we're going to give it a shot, see what it tastes like at 96 hours. You can really smell the alcohol. Wow, that's, boy, I wonder what the, yeah, that's got to be at least wine strength. That's got to be at least 10%. It doesn't taste bad. I think if I wanted to try and sweeten it, I might want to try honey. So let me go get some honey and see what I can. Let's see what I can do with it. So I was supposed to come back with it sweetened so you could see how it turned out. So like I say, you can definitely taste the alcohol. So we're going to go ahead and stop the fermentation at this point. I'm going to take a small amount of rice, put it in a bowl, and then I'm going to take the top layer of rice, put it in my grain bag, squeeze it out, and then I'm going to take the top layer of alcohol, pour it through my grain bag, and then I'm going to take the bottom sediment, put it in the grain bag and squeeze it out. And I'm figuring it'll probably use two 1.5 liter bottles to see how much I get, how much I have in there, and then see how the taste is, and then maybe pour out like 1/10 of what's in a bottle, and experiment a little bit with maybe adding honey to sweeten it a little bit, and then maybe one bottle I'll just leave straight, and one bottle I'll add the proportion amount of honey in it to sweeten it, and put them both in the refrigerator, and then try them tomorrow after they've been refrigerated for a day. So I would say so far it looks like it was a success in that, you know, we've got the alcohol content. There's no bad flavors in it this time, unlike my first two batches of beer, which I was kind of so about. So looks good so far. So I'm gonna try and figure out setup how I want to videotape my next steps, so it's a little bit more educational, a little bit more professional. I'm still not doing very well in that area, but we've got to work on it. So, in a few. All right, we're set for the filtering and separating of the rice and the sediment from the alcohol that will become Makgeolli at the end of this. So it's a several-step process. First thing I'm going to do is take some of the rice that's floating on top, because I kind of like to have a little rice in my, well, of course that makes it Dongdongju, because Makgeolli doesn't have any rice in it. Makgeolli is just a strained alcohol, usually pretty cloudy, but I like to have some rice in mine. I'm going to grab about that much. All these dishes and containers have been sanitized, if you're wondering about that, so I've taken a lot of care to make sure that was done. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put a paper towel over that, because that I'm going to add last to the top of the bottles. I see I got fruit flies flying around still, so I'm going to go ahead and cover my bowl so a fruit fly doesn't decide to indulge himself on my rice here. So next step is to go ahead and start putting the rice mixture into my grain bag and then strain it. It's still fermenting, but I've decided that this is strong enough for my purposes. The next batch that I brew, I'm going to go ahead and ferment it for a longer period of time and see how that turns out. So I'm kind of carefully taking this top layer of rice first. Although, what I should have done is when I moved it from the bedroom over here, I stirred things up. So my idea of just pouring the liquor into here after getting rid of this first layer of rice kind of isn't going to work. But I'm not dealing with that much content or that much volume here. So I don't think it's going to be that difficult or take that long to filter this. Well, you can even see, you can smell the alcohol from up here. So, you know, I'm not sure exactly how much fluid I'm going to get out of this. I had about 1.8 liters of water to the 2 pounds of rice, which of course the rice was steamed, so that means it would have already had some water in it as well. So I'm not sure what the total is going to be. I've got 3 bottles sanitized and prepared. I'm thinking it'll probably take no more than 2 bottles. But to be safe, I sanitized 1 more. So there's that pesky fruit fly. And we even have a fruit fly trap set up in the house with apple cider vinegar. Wife says, why don't I just dump it? I can probably do that. I got a big enough surface here. And yeah, I don't have to worry about it coming up to the bottom of this. So let's go ahead and do that. Kind of slowly. Dump it. I don't necessarily want to go all the way down to the yeast. So let's do this. Suppose it doesn't really hurt. It's all good. Okay. No way around it. And yeah, we boiled, I boiled this grain bag again prior to setting it out here. So this has been boiled for 5 minutes. Make sure the grain bag is sanitary. Of course. So unlike beer, where you're doing your specialty grains and you say not to, not to do this with your specialty grains in beer, with Makgeolli, this is actually one of the things they recommend to do, is to go ahead and squeeze all the juice out of it. Although I'm not too concerned with how you get an extra 100 milliliters or whatever out of it. Now, one of the guys at work asked me, well, what am I going to do with the rice when I'm finished with it? Which got me to thinking, and we talked about different things we could use with the rice. So I might want to do some experimenting over the weekend. This is going to be a weekend where I'm cooking. And one of the things that we thought about was maybe we can make pancakes out of it. Don't know. We'll see how that goes. All right, now that's quite a bit. Okay, so I don't need this anymore. And so the next thing is putting it in the bottles. Well, it looks the right color. Wow. Makes me wonder if it's all going to fit in one bottle or not. Not necessarily that I want to. It might be a little stronger than what I want for drinking. In which case, they can, they do say that they can go ahead and they can dilute it with water. That's one option. Another option is sometimes they'll add a sweet substance, honey or sugar or something like that to help try and cancel out the alcohol taste. So, haven't got that far yet though. This is my first batch making it, so I mean I have tasted it and I know that it is pretty strong alcohol content. Okay, I think that's gonna fit in more than one bottle. So rather than having one super full, I think it's better to go ahead and go with 2 bottles. Give me some more to work with. And then maybe what I can do is sweeten 1 bottle and leave 1 bottle as is. Refrigerate them both overnight. And then give them both a taste tomorrow. See what we got. Doing getting there. What's that? Yeah, I suppose we could have. Now the question now becomes, okay, so let's say I've used this as my sample, and that's about 1/5 of what's in there. So the question then becomes, let me put the lid on these. I don't want any fruit flies getting in them. I'm not going to tighten the lid all the way because the yeast is still in there. There's sugar that's probably still in there and stuff like that, so it's still fermenting until I refrigerate it anyway. So the question is, how much sugar should I put in this? And then I'm going to have to take that times 5 to put in that and come up with some kind of solution, sugar or honey. Yeah. So, probably the easiest way would be to add the honey to this and then put it in there. So that's enough for this. So if I want to do about the same consistency, I need like 1.5 of those. So in total, I'll put about 1/2 cup of honey in here. The one with the rice is the one that's got the honey. Well, I could try and put that in there. Okay, here we are on a lazy Sunday afternoon. I've let the Makgeolli / Dongdongju sit in the refrigerator for 2 days. So a little sour note, so the honey did help balance the flavor in it. I shook it up in the bottle before pouring, and it actually added, there's some carbonation in there, so it is a little carbonated. Made some homemade Flammkuchen today, and we poured our Makgeolli Dongdongju as a drink to go with it. Pretty strong in alcohol, so our next batch we're going to cut the sweet rice in half, but keep the water the same, the yeast the same, and maybe bottle it after 3 days instead of going 4 days. So I think I'll cut the fermentation time by a day and see if by doing that we get a little sweeter. So I just thought I'd give you an update on where this ended up. Not bad, but a little strong for my taste. So we'll see what we can do to reduce the amount of alcohol and improve the flavor. Cheers, 17.